So Sinner is Aaron Lewis's third venture into the country music genre. He released a small EP called Town Line. He released an album a couple years later called The Road, and now we have Sinner. This album's got 11 tracks, 9 of which are written by Lewis himself. A lot of people are going to look at this album and look at Aaron Lewis as a country star, and they're going to shake their heads, they're going to turn their nose up and say, okay, this is just another rock star taking a break and trying to do something different and dipping into the country music genre. And this is anything but that. You know, this is not a guy just kind of trying to broaden his horizons. This is a musical artist and a songwriter returning to his roots. Aaron Lewis is a guy who started off doing a lot of acoustic solo sets in bars and venues through Massachusetts and some other states, and his country influences have always been there subtly in his writing and staying, and much more so in songs like Tangled Up in You and some of the acoustic songs that he released, but it's always been there. And whenever you see him perform live in his acoustic, it's much more in your face, it's much more, you know, pliable. And whenever he released Town Line, it totally blew me away because I was like, what in the hell? Aaron Lewis is a country star? And his writing and his songwriting just matches the country genre perfectly. And what he does with this album is kind of brings back the genre to its old-fashioned outlaw roots. Those of you who know me personally know that I am anything but a fan of country music. You know, I'm a big rock and heavy metal guy. For the most part, I really can't stand country for a lot of the reasons that he presents in his lead single, That Ain't Country. You know, a lot of the music artists which are considered the country artists of today, they are on the radio, it's much more what I call like a twangy pop than country music. There's a few artists that I can take in small doses. There's a few artists that might impress me here and there, whether or not I admit it or not. But for the most part, I can't stand the majority of what I hear on country radio. And Aaron Lewis can't stand it either, because what his lead single, That Ain't Country, and what his purpose for this album is really is to take on the music artists of today who are what he describes as choking the life out of country music, and like I said, bring it back to its roots. What I really love about this music is that even though this is all new songs, except for the few covers that he does, it feels nostalgic to me. There's something nostalgic about the writing and the way that he plays and the way that he sings these songs. You know, I can picture myself as a little kid back in the early 90s walking through my dad's garage or walking through my grandparents' house and hearing these music and these songs in the background. Something I've always appreciated about Aaron Lewis's writing is that his writing is very personal. You can tell that he brings a lot of his memories, a lot of his past into his writing, and that's when an artist shines, because they're bringing in their memories, their past traumas and everything like that, and they're kind of projecting it onto you so you can have something to latch onto. It's very autobiographical music. Now, as far as Sinner goes, guys, this album cements Aaron Lewis into being a force to be reckoned with in the country music genre today. This album is great. You know, it might be a little bit one note for those of you who love all the country artists of the day. You love the poppy stuff. It might seem a little bit down, a little bit dreary, a little bit low tempo throughout the album. But for those of you who are old school country fans or have been longing for a lot of that old music, or you find yourself picking up a lot of old albums and not really listening to what's on the radio today, this is a dose of medicine that you did not know that you needed. Aaron continues to show that he is just a phenomenal songwriter. He's a phenomenal vocalist, and he surrounds himself with an awesome band. You know, whenever the musicians that he surrounds himself start to kind of come into the music, like the banjos, the steel guitars, the slide guitars, it just brings this music to life. It brings these songs out into the forefront, and a lot of them, the way that they're mixed and recorded, almost sound like you're at a bonfire or you're at a venue somewhere or a bar listening to them play. It has kind of that live, real, tangible feel to it. As far as the standout tracks for this album, I have 3. I have Whiskey and You, which is actually a cover song. This is a song written by Chris Stapleton. It was previously recorded by Tim McGraw. You know, Aaron Lewis, basically, when he plays this live, he shows his distaste for the way it was recorded when Tim McGraw did it. He's a big advocate for keeping the spirit of the song that the songwriter intended. You know, he did it with What Hurts the Most, which was recorded by Rascal Flatts. His version is much more close to Jeffrey Steele, who wrote that song. And this version of Whiskey and You is much closer to Chris Stapleton's version, and it's an amazing song. This is the one song on the album that anytime it's on, whether I'm shuffling through it or I have it on randomize or anything like that, I always listen to this song start to finish. I never skip through it. I never fast forward it. I never move to another song. I love this song. I love the way his vocal style kind of brings the song to life. I love the way that the album or the song kind of starts like he's just playing alone with an acoustic guitar, and then the band just kind of comes to life at about the 15 to 20 second mark. I love this song. If you're a fan of the song, the way that Tim McGraw recorded it, or if you like the way that Chris Stapleton recorded it, give his version a shot, because to me, his is the best one. I've listened to all three. I like Aaron Lewis's the best. The other standout track, number 2, is Mama, this is a song that he previewed before that he released the album. It's a very personal song, like one of his songs that you could tell he wrote about his life. It's basically telling the story of, listening to things that your parents tell you, but yet making your mistakes that you're going to make throughout your lifetime, yet trying to kind of live up to what they want you to live up to, is what I got out of it, basically. But it's a really good song. I love the chorus. I love the way that the acoustic guitar kind of swings in and out of the song. Mama is a very good song, and that one's, to me, it's the most personal song on the album, but they're all very personal. And the third one is Lost and Lonely, which is a very close second for most personal song on here. And this is much more dealing with, like, moving through your damage from the past and the love and importance of family while you're kind of leading the life of a musical artist. He has a lot of songs that kind of deal with balancing the life of being a rock star, the life of being, a country music artist, or just being on the road, and balancing your family life. And that's what Lost and Lonely is about. So Whiskey and You, Mama, and Lost and Lonely are my 3 favorite songs in the album. Those are my standouts. Now, there's not a bad song on this album whatsoever. I love every single song on here. There's not one that I want to skip through. But as far as low points on the album, my nitpick would be the last 2 songs. You've got I Lost It All, which it's a really good song. It sounds really nice. He performs very well vocally and musically. But the idea of the song is, leading a life of mistakes and looking for redemption, looking for forgiveness, and not being able to find it. And that's a theme that kind of goes throughout the whole album. So by the time, if you listen to this album the way that it's intended from, track 1 to track 11, by the time you reach I Lost It All, that theme has kind of wore you down a little bit, and it's kind of a redundant theme by the end of the album. But like I said, it's still a really good song. Just by the end, it kind of gets a little bit tiresome with that theme. And the other one is the very last track, which is Traveling Soldier. This is a cover of a Dixie Chicks song. And the reason why it's a low point for me is because Aaron Lewis is barely featured in this song. He does background vocals during the chorus, but he's very low in the mix. This song is recorded by his daughter, Zoe Jane, which those of you Stain fans out there know the song Zoe Jane. And she performs very well vocally. And I appreciate the fact of a father trying to give his daughter kind of a chance to shine, and she does very well. She sings it very, very well. So it has nothing to do with the quality of her voice or anything like that. Just to me, listening to this album as an Aaron Lewis fan and wanting as much Aaron Lewis as I can get in 11 tracks, it was a little disappointing to me that I end the album on a song where he's barely in it. It was an odd choice to close the album where he's not in the forefront. He's honestly, he's barely featured in it. Like I said, he does background vocals, but he's really low in the mix. So that's my other low point, just kind of a nitpick. But again, very good song. His daughter performs very well. I would have preferred if he would have found a song to cover and kind of record with her. Maybe they both could trade off, verses, or then come together and trade off in the chorus, something like that. I would have preferred that, but what we got is still very good. But just being a nitpick, that was my low points. In the end, guys, Sinner is a great third venture into the country music genre for Aaron Lewis. This guy is a force to be reckoned with country music. Cannot wait to see what he does to further his country music career. Even though I'm chomping at the bit for more Stained, because Stained's one of my favorite bands, I can't wait to see what he does to further this little country music project that he's doing. This is an album you need to hear in its entirety. It's just kind of a storyline. You want to listen to it from track 1 to track 11. Don't just go out and buy the single. Go out to the stores right now and buy it. So for those of you who listened to it, what did you think of Sinner for Aaron Lewis? Please leave your comments in the section below. Leave your standout tracks or your low points on the album. Or if you're a musician yourself, post maybe some cover songs and put the links down below in the comment section of you singing or playing some cover versions of these songs. I always love hearing that. And please like and subscribe, share this video, and if you like this review and you want to see me do some more music reviews, let me know and click over here to check out a few more.